Hey, good people. Sun just went down, and I just wanted to greet you. I was about to walk a little bit on my property. I like to walk when the sun goes down, give me a little exercise. But I stopped right here because a thought hit me, and I was thinking about when Jesus cursed the fig tree. I've got a lot of trees. Let me see if you can see. There are a lot of trees on my property. On the path that I walk, a lot of trees everywhere. So thinking about gardening because I like to garden. I like to grow things. I like to nurture. And I was thinking about the parable where Jesus cursed the fig tree. And as the parable goes, Jesus had came from ministering, and he hungered. The parable says that he hungered, and in hungering, he saw a fig tree afar off, and it had leaves on it. And he went to that fig tree, and the fig tree didn't have any fruit, and he cursed the fig tree. I thought about how the narcissists are cursed people, how they're cursed, their lifestyle is cursed. And when we link up with them, nothing goes good for us, and we become accursed because we have partnered with the accursed thing. We have linked up and we have become unequally yoked with that thing that God is not pleased with. I had warnings and red flags along the way that I ignored, and I could see my life starting to go downhill, and I wasn't reaping the full benefits of my blessings when I was attached to the narcissist, and that's because they are an accursed people. Let me tell you, going back to the fig tree, when you think about the promises that the narcissists make, they promise to be great lovers, great boyfriends, girlfriends, mothers, fathers, stepmothers, stepfathers. They promise to be great people in our lives, to be loyal, to be dedicated, to communicate, to be committed, to be there for us. All of these things they breadcrumb us with. And when it's time, when we are hungry, in a time that we need it, we never get it. I remember when the narcissist, his mask started to fall. And I remember begging him for communication because I didn't understand. We were great communicators prior to that. I thought I was in heaven. I thought I had a man who loved to communicate and who was communicating amazingly with me. So when we hit a bump in the road, as I thought it was, I thought this man could communicate with me and we would work this out. So I begged for communication. I begged for, tell me something, what's wrong? What's going on? What's going through your mind? Share your thoughts. Let's talk about it. We can work on it. And I never got accountability. And I was amazed at lack of accountability. When he started to do things that were very disrespectful to me, he would gaslight me. And I was the issue. I was the problem. And clearly these were things that he was doing wrong. There was no apology. He offered none. And so when I needed an understanding, when I needed clarity, when I needed someone to be loyal, when I needed an apology, I didn't get any. So I understood how Jesus felt going to that fig tree at a hungry moment, because there were times in that narcissistic and abusive relationship that I hungered and I never got it. And so Jesus, as a result of not getting that nourishment, that fulfillment, not getting fed at the time that he needed, he cursed the fig tree. And there were times when I read that parable, I thought, well, what the fig tree do? Why are you so angry at the fig tree? Because it didn't have any figs. Well, oh well, hey, go to another fig tree. But no, the lesson to be learned in this matter is it was a time when the fig tree should have been producing. It said, and there were leaves on the fig tree. So Jesus wasn't asking for something out of season. Leaves mean that it was spring or summer. And this is a time that the fig tree produces and should have fruit. So it was to be expected that he had, the fig tree had what Jesus needed at the time. And the fig tree came up short. And so Jesus cursed the fig tree. And this was an example for us, because a lot of times, those narcissists pretend to be things that they aren't. And the Bible tells us that we'll know a tree by its fruit. If it's an apple tree, all we got to do is go up to it and see if we see some apples. Because I can't go to an apple tree expecting a lemon. Now, granted, I like lemons, but if I'm expecting apples, I don't want to get lemons. So Jesus said, we know the tree by its fruit. And that's one thing that those of us who are surviving narcissistic abuse, one of the ways to heal from this and to not fall prey to this again is to heed to the red flags. Those red flags were them showing us their true fruit. They were screaming loud and clear they were not the tree they claimed to be. They told us loud and clear they did not produce the fruit that they said they could produce, that they were something other than what we needed and wanted. And we refuse to believe it, or hindsight is 2020. We're not going to beat ourselves up over it. We're going to become better people and find ways to look at those red flags and accept them for what they are. I remember the first argument that we had. He refused to accept his wrong, and he was clearly wrong in this instance. And I remember thinking, and I even sent him a text, and I said, hey, one thing I love about a man is a man who's able to accept that he has erred. He's made a mistake, and he can accept that, and he can apologize. But in that instance, and even to this day, I never got an apology for that. That should have been one of the first red flags that I knew I had another tree other than what was being presented to me. And I just refused to accept that red flag for what it was. So in summary, narcissists are cursed people. Jesus cursed that fig tree for a reason. And he said, because you refuse to bear the right fruit, you won't even bear any fruit. That's why the narcissists are not capable of bearing any fruit, because the fruit that they said they had, they didn't even have. So the lie that you told narcissists is the lie that cursed you. So be encouraged, continuing your healing journey. Walk, exercise, love, laugh, do things that make you happy, which is why I'm out. My property is a safe place for me. I get out, I walk, I breathe in the living things. Plants and trees are living things. I like to be around life because I have life in me, and I like to give life back, and I like to receive life. So I like to walk because I'm around living things. After you've been around a narcissist so long, you get used to dead things and you crave life. When I left the narcissist, one of the things I wanted so much was to get out in nature and just be around life and living things. And it dawned on me it's because everything about him was dead. Everything about him was dead. I was the life force, pumping life into that relationship. So be encouraged. Continue to love on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. But one thing that we do that the narcissists don't do is we accept accountability. The part that we played, the things that we overlooked. When God told us no, and because of love, wanting to be loved, lack of love, we still ran after those people because they love bombed us, and we needed that at the time. God is understanding, and he understands why we did it, but that doesn't stop us from having fallen down and bruised up our knees a little bit. But thanks be to God that he gets us up and he brushes us off with such loving kindness and mercy and tenderness. And we can go on to help and heal somebody else. If this video helped you, hit the like button and subscribe so that somebody else can get this on their feed and they can be inspired as well. Wishing you nothing but the best in your healing journey. Until next time, bye-bye.